What's up, guys? Freaking tired. Super tired. Oh man. Well, pretty much at the high of last week. All right. We can manage. We can figure out what's going on. What is going on? Yes, indeed. Boom. Wow. Here. This can go. This virtually is the same. Okay. Yeah. Well, it is making its way up. We probably should have took that trade. Holy well.
Yes, we got a multitude of lower highs in this situation. Actually, highs that was set here on the 9th, also last week, Wednesday, around about 5,492. That price might also be gunning to the upside. Same thing here yesterday during the Sunday open. We had a gap that formed there. So if we do break below this current lows, then I think that could potentially be an area where price might be gravitating towards. That being said, it's not necessarily, as you guys know, if there's a gap, it's going to be filled on the same day or the day after. It can take days or weeks sometimes before a gap gets.
Yes, we should have took this trade. Oh well.
Right, so that's what I'm looking at. Again, with the NASDAQ here, going to be a little bit more aggressive, see which direction price breaks out of that
life insurance
range
that meets your needs now for when they need it most. With help from your State Farm agent.
Contact State Farm agent Todd Hubler today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That I
Get a
find,
quote today.
Would be more, how can I say, less risk. The range we have currently here on the NASDAQ, first 15-minute range is quite. If I get short here, if price goes down, I place my stop all the way in the top here. You probably won't be able to do that depending on your account size if you were trading futures or even the micros maybe. But since I'm trading the CFDs here, it will be possible to at least control the the lot sizes to do that. But we'll see. Price could also muck around here in that range for the longest time, maybe even extend beyond what we have before the next trading session starts with our guys at Hola Prime. So
order filled.
Hit the sim account.
Just for the few days ahead and going into next week as well, I'll be looking at this a bit more often, just trying to get a few more trades out for the viewers and see how that goes.
Nice.
All right, so that's me. Did you ever get that bounce on gold that you were looking for, Walter?
Looks pretty good.
Let me just take a look. I think it's getting there. My price alert hasn't gone off yet. Oh, it did bounce, but I'll just share my screen actually. 1 second. There we go.
Stop filled.
Pretty interesting, eh? All right, let's see what happens here.
Voila.
There we go.
Yeah, so price did trade into that area of interest, which is this order block. And it looks like it's rallying, but this is not the trade I was looking for. So I like to look for confluence, right? So not just a blind trade into an order block, but like trading into the order block, but confluent with, so this is a imbalance or fair value gap right there. So if the market obviously gives that sort of like deeper retracement, I do prefer to see like 3 bullish candles going up into that area. And also I believe there was a let's take a look. Let me just turn my EMAs back on again. There we go. Was it on this time frame?
Josh Villain should have left it in.
Yeah, there we go. It's on a 1 minute time frame. So
Prime
1 minute
examples.
EMA also sits
Prime examples.
in that,
Leave
sort of, in that
things
imbalance as
alone.
well. So there's a lot of confluence in this range. So I'll be a lot more confident selling if price were to give that deeper retracement into this area and potentially retesting that 800 EMA that likes to act as a dynamic area of resistance for price, as you can see. So yeah, and then Bitcoin made that a nice move down. It's more than 50% of its way into my AOI, not quite there yet. But notice again, price that it came down, created this relative equal lows. So yeah, most likely price will break below.
I got scared again.
Before we do see a bounce up. So
Should that would have probably worked out.
Right now is just waiting for price to give that move to the downside, and then
It's
from
okay.
there, I will be looking to engage in.
We are simply just here.
So gold and
folks.
Bitcoin are making movements,
Simply just here.
but right now, not the movements that I'm looking for to motivate me to risk some money, you know. So yeah, so at this point, it's just waiting for the right setup to show up.
Yeah, that's the name of the game. Just patience. Gotta wait until the opportunity.
It is.
You can't really chase it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You should never chase. If you ever find yourself in a position of chasing price, then
Since we're starting late,
you're no longer trading.
could be the move that we were waiting
You're
for.
now moving into the realms of gambling. You
Could
should
be.
never chase.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't get yourself into unnecessary drama. Trading is already as hard as it is. You know, just wait, sit on your hands. There's always an opportunity around the corner. So
Agreed.
Exactly. Yeah, there's always something coming up. This is why it's like, for me, like there are 3 sessions in a day. There's London, there's Asia, and there's Asia, London, New York. At least one of the sessions is bound to give me some sort of a setup. So that's why it's like, if I don't see something in Asia morning, Asia open, I look in London. If I don't see something in London, then I'm fairly confident I will see something in New York. But there are days like where there is no setup whatsoever. Like last week, I had one of those days on, I think it was Thursday.
See if it breaks down.
And that's okay, you know. But it's just
Is
saving
it
those
following the
bullets
channel?
for when they actually needed, and then and then at least you have ammunition when something good finally comes along.
yeah,
But yeah, it's a very interesting time for both like gold and Bitcoin, because it's like
Order filled.
right now with gold, I do see one of two things happening. So last week, yes, like the long was anticipated from this bullish order block on the daily, which take a look on the weekly coincided with price trading into this weekly imbalance. So very naturally, price traded bounced off that imbalance from an area of sell side, went into an area of buy side above this high. So I'm very curious to see how this weekly candle will close. There is a part of me that thinks this weekly candle will close as a row retract, meaning it would trade back down into the range and close at around last week's open price. If that does happen, then for me that is like a major confirmation towards a potential correction to gold, that we could see gold trading all the way back down to maybe around like 2,500.
Good. That is it, folks. We might even just say, screw it, we're done. Who knows?
To the upside.
I don't know.
That is a very strong confirmation that again we have.
I don't know. We're a little
climbing to. I mean, the next major price
last week
for gold right now is $3,500.
We're going through it, man. We're going through it. And
so that is the next major price. So if we see a strong close, we are most likely going to see gold get to 3,500. But for me, the big question is, are we going to see gold at 4,000 before the summer? And if we do, that will be absolutely insane. Right now, it's climbing too fast. It's very scary. It's climbing way too fast. But yeah, we'll see what the market holds. And even Bitcoin is that these equal highs are very juicy. For me, I hate when I have very clear targets, because sometimes
you need to pay attention to our funded account.
Target, well, the path to that target
seems to be pretty low.
Sometimes it's like a very weird zigzaggy line. But yeah, so it's like at least there's the ultimate target, but between where price is and that target may not be a smooth path to victory. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But when it is a smooth path to victory, the setups are not always the easiest to get. It sometimes happens in like the times you least expect it, and then it flies to your target.
Nice.
Yeah, crazy how that works. I mean, also like you said, there is like just being around.
I don't know what's gonna happen right here. Is it gonna break down? It could.
Reaching or taking out
potentials. Has potentials to break down. We're gonna go to the high of last.
Difficult part about it is like when you enter
and letting yourself go anywhere, because freedom.
Because like the entry is like not like the entry is pretty, like especially within context of time, right? It's easy to get those entries, but the challenging part is knowing when to hold. So I had like a very similar situation happen to me. I think was it last week or the week before? It was right here. I'll show you. So this was a very frustrating week at that time when this happened. So it was in this situation actually. So yeah, so like I remember this very clearly, right? So this bullish channel was created, and then at the time I had a very clear target that price was going to take out this high, super clear. So I remember like it was on this day. So it was on a Tuesday, right? So I remember on the Tuesday, I actually got a long position down here. All right, this was during like towards the end of Asia session going into London session. I was able to get a long position. My target was this high. So I was like, I had a very clear target in place. I had a very nice entry towards that target, and the market seemed to be rallying. But then as you can see, what happened? Price came all the way back down. And then I got stopped out of this trade because I was like focused on price taking out this target. And then that was my day done. Next day I woke up and price was like all the way down here. I'm just like, what the hell is going on? And then before I know it, look at what happened.
Yeah.
And this happened in a way that I could not. Like, there was a cycle in place.
Hurry up, Tradelocker.
The second part of that cycle, the second
Our
leg.
cash
So
just
remember,
moved
I
down.
usually only take trades after the second leg has confirmed, and then I take the continuation of that, right? But the second leg was the leg that broke above that high. So yeah, so when this happened, I just gave my screen a big middle finger, because I'm just like, look, man, You know I wanted that target. You know I wanted to hold a position to that target. Yet you denied me that opportunity to the very last second.
Yeah, man, that that's the worst when that happens. You have a perfect plan in place, and
punch.
yeah, gut punch. It's perfect way to
Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face by the market, and then the market is like, I have a better plan.
Not just by Tyson, but the markets as well.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, good times, man. Good times. But I like the way you analyze the market, and the way you look at the market is actually very similar to how I analyzed the market a few years back because I started off trading FX all across pairs, and I would look at prospect correlation as a form of analysis, and I would also look at correlated strengths and weaknesses for both the majors and of course the minors as well, and then that would actually give me and then I would obviously do technical analysis on top of that to get an indication of trend direction and all that kind of stuff. So it was very nice, like when you showed your spreadsheets, that really brought back some memories because I had something very, very similar in place for pretty much every single FX pair that I was looking at the time. But yeah, so it was really cool to see that again, like to see actually that someone actually uses that form of analysis. It's a very, very heavy form of analysis, like requires you to actually you have to do a very heavy analysis like start of the week, which usually carries you over like the next few days because you're only looking at 1 hour, 4 hour, which is amazing. But then you have to kind of be on the ball every single day to ensure that you're not missing any major.
Sometimes you gotta be aware when you need to take your profit.
When you get those moves, you can get some big runs.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's proven itself to work in every market condition. Actually, the only market condition this type of analysis does not work in is when the markets are chopped up. When you have a bunch of no trends, when I focus on 28 pairs, and when about half of them are just consolidating or going sideways, that heat map tool, all my analysis, it doesn't mean anything. Because the moves are just too unstable. You have the no trending situation on half of the market.
All right, let's see what happens.
When that happens, that's where you really have to sit
Is it gonna bounce up until no?
I mean, maybe 2 times in the day if
you
have
know?
Because I market will start to give off signals. Either
looking good though.
When you're in that.
We're back to the resistant line that we obviously are seeing here.
What you gotta do is go in chart analysis mode. Your trend analysis has told you there's no trends available. Now you go into chart analysis mode. Look at what's going on with each currency group. So if the US dollar pairs are all showing no trends, but they're now all approaching a major area of resistance or support, that's an indicating, the market's indicating a potential imminent move. You better pay attention to that, especially if there's news coming out that can break, that can serve as a catalyst for it. News is always a fantastic way for these markets to shake themselves out and pick a direction. I love to trade news. The only thing is never trade news before it actually comes out. I see a lot of people. I've been guilty of this myself.
Pay attention to this line. We'll pay attention.
I think it's common sense, right? To wait until after the noise to trade the after effects of the noise. But I think sometimes it might be counterintuitive because I think sometimes people think that the news is where the money is, but really and truly the money is after the noise is cleared. Because the main thing that trades the news these days are algorithms. Algorithmic programs with a lot of major firms and banks. Those are the things that specialize in trading news on the microsecond level. So there is no more edge for any retail trader to trade the news. Zero edge. Like these algorithms are chopping up every single news opportunities that there is nothing for retail traders. And the best thing to do is just to wait until the news is done.
Yeah, I'd rather you go to a casino. That's better.
Right.
Trying to get a few pips off the news. But yeah.
All right, breaking low.
I'd like to wait a minimum at least 10 to 15 minutes before that, so that spike can just calm down and build some sort of consolidation on the 5-minute chart or the 15-minute chart. It depends.
Just trying to bounce back.
Then I like to see, is the momentum going to continue?
See what happens.
And based
Oh,
off the momentum,
it's
you know,
breaking
like
above.
time frames, what's the overall condition of the
Oh,
market
see what happens when you wait.
or half the pairs not trending again. If the market's perfect, you know, we got a lot of trends there, and this is a trend continuation, that's a perfect opportunity. You know, earlier this year I had another massive trade on the pound yen. You know, those I think it was non-farm payrolls. A lot of people don't like trading on non-farm payrolls. That's probably one of my favorite days because the volatility is just so high. I waited until the news came out.
All right.
A pretty small
Caused
price
a wick
spike,
on the 1 minute.
45 pips or something like that. Then we had yen strength come into the market. I sold the pound yen, and you know, over the next 2 or 3 days, it was up 400 pips. It was absolutely beautiful. So you know, got my stop to break even. You know, one thing that I will say with these momentum-based trades, I am never managing a losing
S&P, there's not a
what I
whole lot
mean by that
above
is when I've entered into a trade. I give myself about
of
30
things
minutes
bought.
to an hour.
More
If that
below.
pair starts to, even if it's within the first 10 seconds, if that pair starts to reverse or show some type of pullback, I'm out. I'm too scared to hold it at that point. You know, even though my stop loss, even though I have an initial stop in place, my stops aren't close. They're like 30, 35 to even 40 pips away on more volatile pairs. I'm putting, this is where you manage your risk. You know, I got my stops in place. They're a good, they're good distance away from the market, you know, at the point of entry. So that allows me to, you know, just in case there's some unseen, unforeseen news announcement, which has happened before, you know, there was
So middle range,
pairs when Bank of Japan intervened.
more contracts
I got
purchased or sold.
And luckily I had my stop
More
in place,
sold.
and the very second, oh my god, I couldn't even believe it. The very second I clicked on buy, Bank of Japan
IRS
comes out with
e-file
a
is
news,
now open.
you know,
Snap your
intervention,
W-2 and file
my
your
stop loss was
taxes
hit within the first
100%
10
free.
seconds.
Plus,
It was,
get your
I think it
bonus
was
That's
like 5
crazy.
trade. Yeah.
Roughly 37%
That's why I have
of
stop
filers
losses in
qualify.
place. I'm not
Simple
looking to
Form
get
1040
stopped out
returns.
every time.
No
It's
schedules
just
except
in
for
case
earned income
those
tax credit,
events
child
happen,
tax
and they
credit,
will
and
happen.
student loan
You
interest.
just have to protect
File
yourself.
now.
So
It will happen one day to anyone, to everyone.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Make every wash
And, you know, going into you know, when I enter into a trade, I want to be
Could get hit here,
and get my stop
or
loss
likely to get hit
as
here.
fast as possible. Any sort of, even if it's
Didn't wait,
first 5
and
seconds
we
of the
just
trade,
got
if it's sort of
smashy,
reversed,
smashy.
you know, I'm like minus 10, 15 pips at that point, I'm out. You know, I don't want to be in that trade. And I give a trade
Okay.
about 30 minutes to about an hour. You know, I want to be in positive, you know, being in positive 15 pips for an hour
Question is,
different than being negative 15 pips for an hour. At that point, man, you get out the trade. You're not.
what are we
it's not
doing
worth it.
here?
Yeah, psychologically, it's definitely a very different toll.
Yeah, right.
It's
Get into positive
indecisive.
15.
Where is it gonna
That's
go?
why
Are we
intraday-
bouncing above?
That's what intraday momentum allows you to do. That's what that heat map allows you to do. You know, you got money on your side. It's backing you up at the point of
Or
entry.
should it hit here when we
Make sure
seen that?
it's backing you up.
Okay.
You know, throughout the trade, you don't want it to just
Looking
all
good.
of a sudden fizzle out. Now you're just managing a position. You don't have an edge anymore at that point. Get into positive.
Are we gonna get a login trade?
Immediately. Then you can take a break, make breakfast, or
Is it retracing? Let's find out.
yeah. I don't really like to stay in a trade that long. If it's negative, I don't manage.
Let's find out.
But yeah, I mean, if anybody else has any questions in the audience, you know, please ask. We rarely get questions, so it's
Things
nice
are
to.
quiet sometimes on Mondays, right? So yeah, I've been trying
Yeah.
to get this strategy out and see if something can happen. But since I've discussed it, prices went sideways. Obviously, control the market, so I don't really have anything to show here.
Tried to guess that. Guessing is not good, man.
Look at this. This is just bouncing up and down.
Yeah.
Not a good. I mean, this is obviously a no trade zone. It's like this high to this low. Very unpredictable price action. If you're trying to buy here, you could get chopped high, price comes back down. If you're trying to sell, same thing. So yeah, so right now, just sitting on my hands for this. And then this again, just waiting for the potential, fingers crossed, of this swinging up just a little bit higher, and then I will most definitely engage in this to the downside because the risk reward on this from there will be really good. We're looking at what? Let's see. I prefer from the EMA itself. Stop goes away, and then target is at 1 hour low. Not bad, not bad. So 1 to 2, add to the 1 to 4 from earlier, and then it's the 800 EMA to the down on the 5. 15 is still a bit far away, all the way down here, and then 30. Yeah, I think the 5 is the most reasonable one to aim for. 1 to 2. Yeah, not a bad R. Not a bad R. 1 to 3, best. Looks like it's coming back up now. Yeah, I mean, today's Monday. It's like, this is one of those weeks that will move good. So I think like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week would be very nice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like obviously with Friday being a bank
with
holiday.
our thing.
Yeah, before Good Friday.
So Walter, I'm curious, when you enter a trade, what are your stop procedures? Like, what are your initial stop procedures? Like, what are you looking for to set your stop loss?
My stop loss always goes at the high. So I always take a trade from an order block within context, right? So either a 15 or a 30 minutes order block within a context of a pre-established trend direction. And then my stop loss would always go above the order block or below the order block, just by a few pips, because the market could like wick just a little bit above it. So I always position it above it or below. Entry-wise, so my entry is based on 2 things. Number 1, of course, price needs to trade into my area of interest. And number 2, I usually look for a confluence of some confirmations within my area of interest. So like in this case, for example, fair value gaps or what I refer as imbalances within order blocks is one, but also an 800 EMA. So 800 EMAs is a very good, acts as a very good dynamic area of support and resistance for price. So price would usually gravitate towards 800 to act as a magnet, or it's repelled by the
probably should have stayed.
So that's why. I don't know. It's just the behavior of price.
Do that a lot.
That I've noticed for a very long time. So I just utilize it with my analysis. So if I see the 800 EMA, for example, within like a fair value gap or within an order block, that for me is also a good
you have a dream
for an entry. And then in terms of when I actually pull the trigger, so what I like to see for the majority of my entries, so I'll show you like the one from earlier today, is 2 things. So like in this, like for this one is set up, area of interest was this bearish order block right there. Right, so you saw that the market had already delivered that second leg to the downside. So this bearish order block was an area of interest. But I don't just simply enter at the order block, as you can see. So the first is time. So I usually look for a trade within the first 3 hours of session open. So I start trading during, so I live in Asia. So I live in Bali. Currently I'm in Hong Kong right now. So and gold is very active in Asia and London, more so than New York, surprisingly. But this is the behavior it's been for the past year. It hasn't always been like that, but recently that's what it's been like. So yeah, so the first 3 hours I wait for the market to trade not only into the order block, but in this case, the confluent was A, order block, B, short-term highs, but also there was this fair value gap as well. I will look for something known as a V3, so it's like 3 vector candles. So it's like boom, boom, boom. So it's like an acceleration of 3 candles within my area of interest. So when I see a V3 like this, 1, 2, 3, vector acceleration during the session open, taking out short-term high, trading into fair value gaps, that for me is like the big thumbs up of getting on this trade. So I want to see fast price action. So one thing that those guys, because they've seen me trade live in the past, is I tend to trade into fast price movement. which is for obviously for some traders a very scary thing to do, right? But for me, that's where the opportunity is. So I look for like stuff like this, or I look for free candle movements into my area of interest, and then literally as soon as the candle closes on that third vectoring run, that's when I pull the trigger on my shorts. So like in this case, I basically went short around this area. My stop loss goes always above the high, right? Always above the high, and then my entry was like down here because I hesitated a bit. I was like, I want to see the market pull back into the order block, and as soon as I started coming back into the order block, that for me was my entry. That's what I wanted for. But if I'd entered immediately because of this candle, it would have gotten a better RR. But either way, this general range for me was like that, where that third vector accelerated run traded into, and that was my entry confirmation. I don't like trading into slow price action. I prefer trading fast.
Sorry, that B3 move.
Say that.
So specifically, what you look for?
V3.
The B3.
No, V3. So V for vector.
V for vectors. Do you follow that in like Bitcoin as well? It's very something common when you see.
Yeah. So V3. Yeah, so V3 also in Bitcoin as well. So not just gold. It's definitely more common in gold during. The key difference with Bitcoin and gold is usually only active during the first 3 hours of London, Asia, and New York Open. Between those times, it's just consolidated, right? So that's why it's very easy to see where the market vectors, because it usually is just a sign that the market is waking up and it's getting ready to do something. Whereas with Bitcoin, I don't always see the V3, so I don't necessarily look for it all the time to happen, because Bitcoin is active quite a lot of the times, especially when we least expect it. So, like for example, gold might be dead by 1 p.m. New York time. Gold might just be quiet, not doing anything by that time. But Bitcoin could be super active at like 2 p.m. New York, for example. So still within the first 3 hours for me is the most optimal. Bitcoin sometimes vectors, but with Bitcoin, I'm just happy. So like why I like trading Bitcoin is like stuff like this. When I see ranges form, I'm very happy as long as the market trades and closes. And when I say close, I don't want to see a wick. I want to see a very bearish close out below the slope. As long as the market trades and closes outside of this range into the order block, I'm getting in on that. Right. Gotcha. I don't want to see a wick. The reason being is because with a wick, it could just be a continuation of that accumulation. So, like for example, so the last trade I took on this was last week, Friday. Was down here. Yeah, it's down here. Just find that setup. There we are.
Ouch.
Yeah, so like with this, like the last trade I took on this price, so it was right here. It's not so clear to see.
Not so good. Not so good.
So price gave that full bullish cycle to the upside, right? And then after that full bullish cycle, it kind of like it gave that vector to the upside. It came back down, and then after that, it began to give a new bullish move. So this is actually one on the lower time frame.
See what happens.
So in this case, this was the area of interest down here.
Okay. Well, yeah, spiked down quick.
And then this gave three. So yeah, so this gave the entry was even before the spike candle. This was just the teaser of trying to get me out. This is more the entry. So it's like 1, 2, 3.
You specifically.
So when this is the reason I don't move stop loss to break even because of random shit like this. That's why I always leave my stop loss where it is.
Exactly.
But yeah, so it's like 1, 2, 3 down into my area of interest. Right there, right into that order block. So again, it's like with something like this, as long as the market is just giving me that move into the order block, I'm happy to enter off that. My stop loss goes below the order block, and that's it. That's all I need to do.
Gotcha.
and then and then with this one, I just held it to this high right there. So this was my area of interest for taking my profit.
Nice.
Yes, so that was the trade, right? But yeah, like this is the reason I thought I needed to break even, because obviously after this shift candle, it's easy to think, oh, let me protect my bottom line, but then the next candle comes and stops me out. So that's why I always leave my stop where it is. I just give enough room for price to do these things. Yeah, it happens quite a lot, more times than often, and stuff like this to screw up your win rate. Because what could have been a profitable trade becomes a losing trade, and then let's say that you have like out of 10 trades, like 6 trades are meant to be profitable. It really messes up your win rate, because your profitable trade becomes losses,
See what
and
we
then
can
you end
do
up
here.
accumulating more losses, and then you end up like ending the.
All right, it looks like it possibly
that's
could
why,
be breaking down.
Leaving my stop loss where it is just actually it's more beneficial for me in the long run.
Possible.
When it comes to break even.
Nice.
Yeah, so this looks like it might give a bullish break to the upside.
One of the accounts might get liquidated, which it did.
Oh, so
Alright,
it's
gold is moving nicely into the area.
Did not flatten.
Any updates on your end, by the way?
I don't know. I'm still stuck in a range here. Well, the NASDAQ is. We only have 10, what?
NASDAQ.
Let's get those ones flattened.
8 minutes to go. We have to finish things off here. So, guys, any questions from the viewer side will be greatly appreciated. Otherwise, I think, Walter, you're the only one that's actually close to a potential setup. But still, you still wait for the 15 minutes candle closes and stuff, right?
Yeah, of course. I have to. I wouldn't just take anything prematurely.
Yeah.
It's surprising how much pound dollar has been rallying. It's
Yeah, it's been
not bad at all.
Crazy. Especially on the larger time frame.
So right now, what are you looking at on the higher time frame then? Are you looking at this being bullish right now in the long? Because obviously it's sitting in an accumulative range as well on the monthly time frame. So it's a very big range.
So yeah, that one was like 100 away.
Yeah.
We're okay with that.
Yeah.
Knew that was the
waiting for it to
possibilities.
break
That's why we have
even.
these other two. We did get a little crazy on that one as well, but we're not gonna worry about it. We're just gonna focus on this bottom one and go from there. Make good choices. Make good choices.
Lingering dollar weakness. So I gotta see which currency is gonna drive the movement, and then at the time of entry, using that heat map.
Might be a bit of a gamble there.
So ideally, I wanted to consolidate more on the 4-hour. It could break out of there, but I really want to see a consolidation and then a break of that on the 4-hour at least.
Which will make sense, because it's been a sort of an extended move to the upside. So you want to ensure that at least there's enough liquidity build up to sustain either a bigger run to the upside or at least a similar run of the same length.
Yeah, exactly. The larger the pullback, or potentially the longer the consolidation.
So this is where we should buy if it doesn't, or we should sell.
Strong pump to the upside there.
Yeah, very strong move.
We were watching this a while back. Price being stuck in that range. We just had that little pop to the upside.
Depending on what happens here.
Now we're back to the topic.
Yeah, right.
And then even like
you have to let it do its thing.
The dollar has just been, I mean, I know last week there was the brief corrective movement as a result of the
which way is it gonna go?
Trump's, obviously tariff situation.
Are you sure
But
your
after
tax
that,
expert is right for you?
it's just
Switch
been
to
continuing to
TurboTax
the
Full
downside, and it's
Service.
now obviously
You'll
traded
be
down
matched
to
with
the
a
low
TurboTax expert and
of
get
this range
real-time
down here.
updates on their progress. And you get your best outcome
So this
guaranteed.
is price is now
Switch
sitting
to
on an area of
TurboTax Full
support,
Service.
and this is the high of the range. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Oh, that was the time.
The dollar
Maybe.
has just been complete dollar weakness weakness for
All right.
3 consecutive months now. 3 consecutive months of dollar weakness.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Bitcoin has given that break to the upside. All right. This is good now. So yeah, at this point, what I want to see is a new high being created that doesn't trade back into this previous range. And then I'll be anticipating a retest of this order block. And then I'll be looking to trade continuation from that.
It's trying really hard. Oh, looks like we do got to get to work. Oh, did we take? I think we took loss on fees.
Cool. I think.
All right, let's break it down.
Show my charts again. If you don't mind.
Yeah, of course, go for it.
Again, there's that 15-minute range. We just ran sideways here on NASDAQ. So probably after the session, we might have a breakout above or below there. Yeah, something crude. Well, SPX sideways.
All right, just trying to break above.
Same thing here. Been a little bit of a consolidation there. So not much movement, guys. Nothing I can do. I'm not going to force a trade. So at the very least, like I mentioned during the week coming, if I can see any breakouts out of that first 15-minute range, then I'll be happy to trade that in the NASDAQ. But yeah, you will get days like these. Got great grand plans, and then the market just does what it wants to, right?
Yeah.
Sideways. Don't force anything. Don't chase anything. Don't go make silly mistakes and, you know, trade outside of your plan, which a lot of traders do. And they get caught up in the sideways movements. You get frustrated. So, yeah. Are you guys back on tomorrow morning again or during the late session? Because Walter, you probably have to be in the morning session being in Hong Kong, right? With your time difference.
I'm
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite late.
Well,
yes, I'm back. I'm always on at this time. On either Monday or Thursday.
Yeah, I should be on.
it's bouncing.
Wednesday as well. Morning session.
Okay.
We're gonna see which way it goes.
Any questions from our viewers' side? Now's the time to ask. Got a minute or so left, I believe.
Yeah.
And then
These
we'll
questions only help
back
you
later.
for that.
A
You don't
bit of
ask
a quiet Monday, unfortunately, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah, yeah. You know, if you don't ask a question,
thing
you're just putting your, kind of losing yourself. You know, these questions only are gonna help you. So we're good. It's just they're gonna help you. So don't be afraid to ask.
I see what I think the equities or the stock market closes on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern as well. Not observing
I told him to use 11 as the standard email font, but he insisted on using.
I think hopefully we get a decent moves occurring earlier rather than later. During the day.
Your boy's on a break. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Welcome
Right, guys,
to
I
the
think
thing
time's
you
up.
never ever thought was possible. But it
All right.
is.
Thanks for
Welcome home,
joining.
guys.
Nice seeing you guys again.
Yeah, good talking to you guys as always. Walter, it was great meeting you. Hope you come on.
Likewise. You too, Nanda.
All right,
sorry,
guys.
good.
No
question
doubt.
there.
Nice seeing a new face.
Before you go, Walter or Nandan.
Yeah.
Our good friend Robert's been with us for quite some time since we started hosting these sessions. He asks, what did you tell yourselves when you used to struggle with not breaking your rules?
Wait, when you used to struggle with not breaking your rules or struggle with breaking your rules?
Probably breaking your rules, I would say. Yeah, discipline obviously a major important part of trading, Robert. And I guess it's just, for me personally, I've been so, how can I say, not just interested in trading from when I started, but you know, you get into that journey when you actually start seeing results after actually starting to work on those bad habits that you built from the beginning. Then that sort of, you know, helps keep you in check, because it depends how much pain, normally it's financially wise, that you went through. That was, you know, the cause of these emotional issues that you have, or ill discipline that you built. I just basically went, well, a few times actually, wanted to throw the towel in and just like look myself deep in the mirror. I even had support from the family side, my wife, and said like, listen, if this is something you really want to do seriously, you need to start really working on these things that's stopping you from getting there, you know? And you know, and that's not just a quick thing like that, it's a process as well. So I think having a good support structure as well, speaking to other traders, like speak to us, ask questions, you know, like you just did right now. You know, it's a good thing. Trading on your own can be a very lonely journey as well. So you know, that's why I really like this sort of format that we're doing here too. Ask questions to people who've been trading for a while, learn from them, and I mean, like I said, it's just a journey. It's not gonna just happen overnight either. It's difficult. Anyone that tells you trading is difficult, and especially the emotional side that goes with that, you know, it's not easy. So yeah, we're always here to help. Ask those questions. You guys will probably have similar sort of views. Different experience. Or you've got what you've got. But for me, it's just like really had to go sit myself down after many years of basically just messing things up because of myself, not really the strategy though. You know, you have to get real with yourself at some stage. You have to change, you know. If you can't do that, then maybe it's time to do something else.
Yeah, have a trading system that's adaptable to all the markets. And yeah, I'll be honest, some of the best trades I've ever taken are because I've broken a rule. But don't ever deviate far from your rules. So if you're gonna break a rule, understand why you're breaking it. Understand, you know, what the results of it could potentially be. Accept it before you do it, and keep a clear mind. You know, risk less. You can break your rules, risk less. There's no, you don't need to risk the same amount. You know, but just don't deviate from your rule set too hard, or else you're gonna pay the price. You will pay, I promise you. And you'll get to a point where trading is gonna kill your emotions. It's gonna happen at one point. So risk less. Don't deviate too far.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
Yeah, and I agree with what Richard said. You know, it's gonna happen, but make sure you're in front of the charts every day so you can build the experience.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Right.
Yeah, you both couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Right. So, don't want to add anything, Walter? I think that's it. Should we call it a day? Yep. Yeah. Cool. Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks, Robert, Walter, Nandan. Nice seeing you guys again.
Yeah, likewise.
See you again this week. So, have a good rest of your day. Until next time. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of the day, guys. Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, I think that's it. It's time to go. Oh no. Oh no. Wait for the fail back. I jumped that gun. Supposed to wait for the fallback. This is the last trade. We're in the past our likely loss. Still within our don't want to lose anything more. arena, but we're gonna leave that in and hope we survive it. There was a possible truck along we were waiting for. See, this is going to tell us if it breaks down or not.
Irresistible fruity flavors and a delightfully soft texture. Now
Which is likely.
more delicious than ever. Black Forest, real juicy, real good.
We're going to leave the trade in. All the loves. Peace.